Hey guys, welcome to No Filters, Just Freedom, the show for people who are ready to stop shrinking, start rising, and live with unapologetic audacity. My name is Jasmine, I'm a life coach, and I'm here to guide us all through this journey of bold, authentic living.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to today's episode of Why Being Normal is Overrated and Probably a Myth, Anyways. We are becoming the anti-normalization resistance movement. And today's agenda is how your quirks aren't flaws, they're secret weapons. We're tackling the biggest scam of all time, normal. Fitting in isn't the same thing as winning at life. I'm here to declare that normal is officially overrated and possibly a myth, like unicorns or balanced adulting. So let's break it down. First off, who even made the rules? Like, is there a council of normality somewhere sipping tea and judging us? Like, yes, Becky, 2.5 kids and a beige couch. Very normal. Approved. Like, who decides when and where and how things get to be called normal and where they get placed? Is it just because a group of us came together? Is it because it seemed rational at the time? Like, what is this very definition of normal? Because from what I've seen, normal changes constantly. 200 years ago, bathing weekly was weird, okay? Like the Romans and the Greeks, they were like, oh man, you're like all the time, you're in the bath. Like, yes. But now, if you skip one shower, people act like you're raising a pet fungus. We're constantly switching from here to there and back and forth. And who decides what this thing we call life creates normal? So what do I currently think is normal, me personally? Crying at animal videos, okay? Sometimes they could be so cute and they just need love and affection and attention. And yeah, sometimes I cry at animal videos, okay? Or maybe you name your plants, okay? It's debatable. I wouldn't name my plants, but hey, I think that people that have as many plants as other people have pets, you have every right to name your plant. And more power to you, because you take care of it just like I have to take care of my dog. Or whispering cool to yourself in stressful moments. It's 100% normal. And for those of us that do it, aka me, we might need some help out here, okay? Because I'm stressed and I don't know what to do. And the way I calm myself down and de-stress myself is being like, cool, it's gonna be okay, when deep down, I don't believe it's gonna be okay. So again, being normal is a complete myth. The average person is a statistical ghost who doesn't actually exist, okay? We keep talking about this, again, mythical creature that's like, oh, this person is normal, this person is what they're supposed to be, or this person is the average human. What is average? I'm a math geek, okay? And I did statistics. And so I'm like, well, what is the mean? You have mean, median, and mode, and each one of them has something to do with the middle ground of a group of people. But where do you find the middle ground in human beings? And is there some sort of standard deviation? Like, okay, this is the average, but if you're within this chunk of people or this level of normality, we'll still consider you normal. Is there like a bell curve for normality? I mean, what are we talking about here? Does anybody know exactly what's happening here? It seems like normal is just what enough people agreed to pretend is true. And yes, I do mean pretend that is true, okay? Because deep down, there are so many of us that say something that we're not really thinking is real in our head. We're talking about how the world feels about skinny jeans. I'm not going to go into that. I'm just saying we as a society have a belief about skinny jeans, and some of us think it's normal and some of us don't. And where did that word normal come from? It's about the 9-to-5 schedule. Yes, in our culture, 9 to 5 is a normal job. Why? Why is that normal? Who decided that that was going to be what it takes? Because if you go to another country, they look at us like we're crazy. And you know what? I'm with them. I don't want to work 8 hours, okay? Without a break in the middle. You're trying to tell me I work 8 hours and get a 30 to 45 minute lunch break? Absolutely not. But I'm going to get off that high horse, okay? We don't need a TED talk about how I feel about 9 to 5 hours. And then, of course, there's the classic debate of pineapple on pizza, okay? Now, somewhere along the line, we decided that people that don't put pineapple on their pizza are normal. Why is that? Why are they normal? As one that sits in the camp of I love a good pineapple on my pizza, why should I be shamed? Okay? I think it's disgusting to have anchovies on your pizza. Okay? I think you're a weirdo if you put anchovies on your pizza. Now, that does not mean that you're abnormal. That just means I, Jasmine, think it's disgusting. So why do I somehow have to be abnormal or weird or, not in the cultural norm just because y'all think it's not okay to put pineapple on your pizza? As you can tell, I feel very strongly about my pineapple on my pizza. But the truth is, I feel very strongly because people keep trying to tell me that I'm somehow abnormal, which makes me feel crazy, and I'm not crazy. People love to look at me and also say that I'm crazy because I don't like coffee, okay? As if coffee is the mandatory drink for adults. I hate coffee. I hate the flavor. It's the flavor of coffee. I can't necessarily say I hate the smell, but the taste of it, there's nothing you can do to make me like coffee. Doesn't matter how you brew it, doesn't matter the specialty. I'm so against the flavor of coffee that while my favorite thing in the world is chocolate, if it gets too dark, I don't want it. Because now I can taste that coffee cocoa bean and I don't like it, okay? But people are like, oh, man, you don't like coffee? You don't drink? How did you get through school? How did you do this? What do you actually drink? As if somehow I'm some alien from outer space that doesn't drink water. Or like, oh God, do you even think straight? Do you walk in a straight line? Do you speak English because you don't like coffee? Like, guess what, guys? I will continue to drink my hot chocolate and chai tea latte like the child that I am, if that's what you think. And I am confident enough in myself to be that way. I'm just upset that you're calling me abnormal, okay? There's so much pressure to feel normal that we constantly fake it. We fake it in job interviews, the first dates, family reunions, the list goes on and on and on, okay? You pretend to get into this mold to make sure that no one looks at you because no one judges you, because the judgment is so uncomfortable and so intense. But studies show that most people feel abnormal all the time. So if everyone is faking it, is that the new normal? Okay, mind blown. If we're all faking being normal, does that mean abnormal is normal? We could go into a tailspin about that, but I'm just putting it out there, okay? And there is a high cost that we all have to pay to fit in, okay? I'll call it the Blandness Tax, okay? We lose things like creativity, okay? Some of us will, mute a good but weird idea for the sake of being professional, which is crazy because that's how some of the best life goals and inventions and everything else were created, okay? You have an idea, you have a brilliant thought. It's clearly something that the rest of us haven't thought of, or I can't even say the rest of us, but maybe the group that you're currently in haven't thought of, and you tone yourself down, especially at work, because you don't want to seem, for lack of better terms, crazy. And it's totally unfair to do that because now you're losing your freedom. Now you're losing the thing that makes you special and your creativity, and we need more creative people in our world, okay? Then it can also drain your energy to try to force yourself to be normal. It can drain your energy. The mental load of performing quote unquote acceptable is exhausting. It's absolutely exhausting because you never know what the actual standard is. You never know, am I high enough on this ladder to be above the line or below the line? We just don't know where we fit in, and you're constantly going, working, stressing about whether or not someone around you is gonna see that you're pretending or that they think you're not doing good enough or anything. Like I said, it's just exhausting. And lastly, we can miss some great opportunities. Who knows what could have happened from the things we never tried because they seemed too out there? I don't know what you want to try. I don't know if you're, mixing food cocktails. And next thing you know, you're creating a new dish that Gordon Ramsay loves. I don't know. I think about the Wright brothers and Amelia Earhart. And it's like, who thought that it was a good idea to get a hunk of metal in the air and sit in it while it goes around, hoping it does not crash? Because if you ask me, if we were just out here in the middle of nowhere and you said, hey, I think it would be cool to get this thing up in the air, I would look at you and be like, why? Who thinks that? What possessed you to think that we should put something that big and something that heavy in the air with someone in it? But you know what? Thank God they did. Because look at our travel system now when it comes to airplanes and jets, and now we can go to the moon and all of these other things because somebody thought, hey, we could leave the earth. We could just travel up. Forget jumping. I could maybe get 400 feet in the air. All because they had a goal and a vision and a dream that so many of us don't have. I would have never tried it. I would have never thought it. But now here I am, in love with it. Okay? So there are so many things we can miss out on because we were too busy trying to fit the mold. And the truth is, one of the things that can be really overwhelming and really stressful is the triggering word that is crazy. I think what's really, really important to talk about is you can have normal and abnormal. You can have normal and weird, but calling someone crazy is so out of pocket and triggering because it implies that there's something broken in you. It implies that your brain doesn't function correctly. It implies this black and white area that you don't fit in. And that's not okay. That's the part that people are afraid of. People are afraid to feel crazy, to come across as crazy, to be called crazy, because we have a cultural connotation of that word. And we've decided that crazy is the opposite of normal. And they're two completely separate things. And if we really wanted to, I'm not going to get into a full-fledged conversation about the actual literary definition of crazy and what it should be used for. But the point is, crazy does not mean that you aren't normal, okay? Normality has nothing to do with how your brain functions, okay? Normal has everything to do with fitting into a mold or fitting into what could be considered a group of people. But it has nothing to do with how your brain operates. And I feel very strongly about that as someone that does suffer from mental health things and can often be called or it can be insinuated that I'm crazy. I hate it. My husband knows I hate it. It's so triggering. Do not call me crazy. I'm not crazy. I just view the world differently. Okay, I see a situation differently. I feel differently about something that's happening in the moment, but I'm not crazy. Okay, growing up in like middle school or whatever else is for those of us that are millennials and everything else, musical taste. There was a group called Matchbox 20, Rob Thomas. One of my favorite songs that they did was called Unwell. And there's this line that says, I'm not crazy, I'm just a little unwell. And that's like, I would rather you call me unwell. I would rather you call me weird or abnormal than call me crazy, because I'm not crazy. I don't need to be institutionalized, okay? I don't hear voices in my head. I am not seeing the world in like Technicolor and on drugs or anything like that. I just think differently. That's it. Because that's what being quote unquote abnormal is about. That's what it means to not fit in. That's what we're all pretending and faking that we're not. We're all faking the idea that we somehow don't view the world differently than others. Somehow we're all on the same brainwave, which just isn't true, because we need that diversity. There are people who work better in other areas than some, and it's great. I got friends that are doctors. Awesome for them. I couldn't get through that much biology. Now I can math like the best of them, okay? but I can't. I'm not that kind of a person. Does that make me weird? No. Does that make them weird? No. It means we have different strengths and weaknesses and we love them for it, okay? So we need to understand that being different or abnormal or weird is really our superpower, okay? We're gonna rebrand weird as interesting. Historical geniuses were all quote unquote weird. Einstein's hair, weird, okay? Dare I say crazy, but we're not saying that crazy, but Einstein's hair, if you've ever seen a picture, is way, way out of there. Then you have Tesla's pigeon romance. I don't know what Nikola Tesla had with pigeons and why he enjoyed them so much. And having been from New York and seen pigeons, they are the most disgusting creatures in the world. Don't know why you loved them, but you did some awesome stuff with the world, man. You had a thing for pigeons. And Shakespeare's savage burns. Like, if you read a Shakespeare play, I'll be like, who hurt you, Shakespeare? Because you are ruthless, okay? Some of these people who are considered historical geniuses were a little weird, but we're gonna call them interesting. They were interesting because they brought diversity to what was happening, okay? Your quirks are your superpowers. So how do we make these superpowers work for us? How do we wrap ourselves and find strength in these interesting things about us? Step one, you wanna identify your weird, okay? What did you love as a kid before society got its claws on you? Because that's what happens. We all come out, nice and shiny and clean with this purity for all of us. And we see the world in this awesome way. And then something comes in and just breaks our favorite toy and jades us. And now all of a sudden, we aren't comfortable being who we are anymore. So try to go back to remember what it was that brought you joy before the world came in and smashed it. What makes people say, wait, you actually like that? Because that question right there, that could be the very thing that brings something to the table, okay? They're looking at you like, wait, what? You're into that? Yes, I'm into that, okay? What about it? It's funny, my husband, there are things that I used to not understand about him that actually bring me joy now, because that's what marriage does. It, again, 2-to-1, now I like the things that he likes that I would have considered weird. We watch these guys do, if people know what a let's play is, or they make money on YouTube and doing different videos by playing video games and us watching them play video games and just having like these basic conversations. It's like video podcasting for nerds, essentially. And at first I thought it was weird and I didn't understand it, but now like it brings me so much joy. Watching these guys and get invested, and I want to see them if they could win this video game. It's the ability to watch someone play a video game the way I would binge a TV show. Because I don't have time to play the video game, okay? I don't have time to do all the fun stuff that they're doing, but I love the fact that they're able to make money doing it. I love them so much and got so invested that these two guys, my husband actually made fun of me because apparently I got too weird for him, okay? These guys did this thing called a subathon, all right? And they went live until the timer ran out. So they started a timer for 24 hours, okay? And they said, we're gonna be live for 24 hours. We're just gonna shoot video. You're gonna see us eat with our wives. We're gonna hang out with our kids. We're gonna play these video games online, and we're gonna stay live until the timer hits 0. And the way the timer would go up, it would be monetary gifts from people, or like membership gifts to other people, or whatever else to bring the timer up. Long story short, these guys started this subathon February 1st, and they went until like May. Okay, they were on, when they got over like 100 days, it was crazy. Okay, so you gotta think about how much people are gifting and how much people wanna watch these guys on this subathon, watch them play these games, watch them be live. They had like incentives, but then they ran out of incentives because they never thought they'd be live for that many days. And I was watching it. I mean, I was waking up and tuning in to like, what are they gonna do today? Oh my gosh, I'm texting my husband like, hey, this guy did this. And it's so funny. These are the jokes that I've been listening to them tell. Invested, okay? And when I would tell people, they would be like, what you doing? Oh, I'm watching the subathon. They'd be like, wait, you're doing what? Yes, that is my weird. That is what I'm proud of. I am identifying my weird. Okay. Then step 2, you got to give it the screw it gradient. Okay. You just got to shade it with some screw it. I don't care. Okay. Level 1 is, you wear that too loud shirt you have. Okay. Don't let anybody tell you that you can't wear that Hawaiian shirt out in public. Don't let anyone tell you that. Okay. Don't let anybody come in and tell you that you shouldn't wear yellow. All right. Or you shouldn't wear a shirt. You shouldn't wear polka dots or stripes or whatever else that seems to be the cultural norm. If you like it, we love it. All right. Level 3, if you want to level up to level 3, tell people your real hobby. Okay. I'm not talking about I enjoy this, or I take my dog on walks, or I read these kind of books. I'm talking about the fact that I collect these figurines occasionally, but they only have to look like this when I want them, and I keep them stacked up in a line in pristine condition, and I might hit my kids in the face if they try to play with my action figures. Okay? The real hobby. The thing that just the sad thing is, as a mom right now to a 2-year-old, I don't even know if I have a real hobby anymore. But I enjoyed some different stuff. And I was kind of okay with it. I can binge a video game in a heartbeat. Okay. I can binge a TV show. I've currently been playing some Pokemon games on the computer, and that's been really fun. Started playing with my husband. Now he's done, and I'm still playing because I can hyperfixate on anything, and I'm not ashamed to say that. Everybody's got these cool hobbies. Okay. And we shouldn't be afraid to say, hey, this is my hobby. And then if you want to be master level 10, start a side hustle based on your niche obsession. Okay. These guys that I was watching the subathon with, they like Pokemon. They play these Pokemon games, they play Donkey Kong, they do whatever else. They started their own businesses and now make money doing the thing that you would think is weird. Why is this 30-year-old still playing Pokemon? Because he's making 6 figures. All right. Y'all want to clown him and call him abnormal, but he'd make more money than all of us combined recording himself on YouTube. All right. We listen to people that do these podcasts. We listen to other people that work from home. We see all of these different things that we might consider abnormal, but these are really people that took their weird, made them a side hustle, and now they make more money than us. And let me tell you something, making money is normal. I will call that normal. Okay. That's not weird. And then step 3 to finding your superpower and making your weirdness a superpower, find your fellow weirdos. Okay. The right people will celebrate your quirks, not just tolerate them. All right. You want to find the people that celebrate with you. You want to find the people that you can sit there and be like, did you watch this episode of this? Okay. My husband and I, with a bunch of friends that we love, we are board game fans. Okay. We love a good board game, and we have no problems being in our 30s and loving a good board game and playing with other people. And you can find other people that love it too. There are actually bars in our area, and I'm not talking about the bars that have games. Okay, because there are bars out there that have video games and whatever else, and the whole point is that you can play while drinking. Absolutely not. There's actually a bar in our area where you reserve and rent a table, and they have walls and shelves of every game you can think of. Okay, I'm talking we could go back and play Clue. We can play murder mystery games. We could play games I've never even heard of. So it's fun because you get the board game off the shelf and you got to read it together. And then it's a bar. So me and my friends can rent a table, order drinks, and then sit down and play board games together for 3 hours. It's so much fun. Oh my gosh, it's so much fun. And people that don't enjoy board games or whatever else will be like, oh, that's weird. But you know what? Me and my friends, we're weird together. And the reason why they're my friends is because they love it just as much as we do. And then we can all play together and enjoy and make memories. And it's awesome. Find your group of people. Find your weirdos. Okay? Life is too short for quote unquote normal. Dance in the grocery store. Wear mismatched socks. Write angry Yelp reviews in a haiku. It doesn't matter. Own it. Own your weird. Okay? Because it makes you special. So let's try a 7-day weirdness challenge. Okay, that's what we're gonna try to do this next week. We're gonna try to do 7 days of weird. All right, on day 1, like something unironically. Okay, see something out there and be like, you know what? I like that. Your shirt, I read your shirt. I like that shirt. Okay, and they're like, oh, because in our culture now, you can be like, oh, I like that. Like, no, I mean that. Thank you. I appreciate you for wearing that shirt out in public. Okay, like it unapologetically. Then replace fine with a real feeling. How are you feeling? Fine. Absolutely not. How are you feeling? Bloated. Wait, what? You asked me how I was feeling. That's how I'm feeling. How are you feeling? You know what? I'm feeling like I just want to go and have a dance party real quick. What are you feeling? Like, people are going to look at you like, wait, what did they say? How does that work? Who cares? Just say how you're really feeling. Don't just mask it with I'm fine. Day 3, share an unpopular opinion. Okay? Hot take. All right? Do a hot take on something, anything, whatsoever. I mean, you could have, and look, let it cause a fight. Let it cause a fight if necessary. And I'm saying, have a hot take like the original person that was like, yeah, I put pineapple on my pizza. The original person that said that, because that started a whole wave of what is happening in these streets, okay? Hot take. Hot take, I think certain colors shouldn't go together. Hot take, there are all kinds of things that you could, unapologetically have an opinion for. Do that. Find one thing and do it. Day 4, enjoy a guilty pleasure, unironically, okay? The other day I was folding laundry, and shout out to Disney Plus, I turned on Yu-Gi-Oh! And started watching Yu-Gi-Oh! Now, that's for my nerds, okay? That's for us back in the day. That was our anime, okay? When we were like 10 and 11, it came on a Saturday night or Saturday mornings, WB, for people the youngins that don't remember that, I was like, you know what? I could do it. Sure, I'm in my 30s with a kid and married, but I don't care. This is my guilty pleasure for the day. I am going to binge watch some episodes of Yu-Gi-Oh! They're 20-minute episodes. I get like 10 in. It's great. Day 5, do something age inappropriate. Now, this is really easy for me personally because I have a 2-year-old, so I just get to blame her for these things. But if I want to finger paint, then gosh darn it, let me finger paint. Okay? If I want to have watercolors, if I want to make, what was that stuff we made in school? Like the slime, that gloop. And you did it with like glue and some other stuff, and it was just weird and sticky, and you put it in a Ziploc bag. If I just want to make that just because, then I'm going to make it just because. I don't care how old I am. It brings me joy. Okay? We're going to do things that bring us joy. Day 6, have a conversation without editing yourself. Just say what it is and mean what you say. Now, I'm not telling you to be rude. I'm not telling you to be mean. I'm simply making the statement that you should feel confident and comfortable saying what you want to say without being like, oh, what are they going to think of me afterwards? Just say it. What did you do today? I did this. Does it matter if it sounded weird? No, I'm going to say it anyway. Okay? And on the last day, introduce yourself with a fun fact instead of your job. Okay? So if I were to introduce myself currently, right now, I would no longer introduce myself as, hi, my name is Jasmine. I'm a stay-at-home mom and a life coach. I wouldn't do that. I would be like, hi, my name is Jasmine, and my favorite food is chocolate. And if you try to tell me chocolate's not a food, I will fight you. Like, we could debate it. We could go, Hi, my name is Jasmine, and I don't understand why people wear jeans. I only want to wear sweats every day. How do we make sweats dress sweats? Okay, that's, we could, hi, my name is Jasmine, and I don't know what I would do without my weighted blanket. Introduce yourself with something crazy and watch people, at first they might make a face, but also you're giving freedom to everybody else for them to feel confident and comfortable and how to communicate and share their what would be considered a secret, okay? Normal is a boring myth, and the best people are gloriously odd. Normal is a setting on the washing machine, y'all, not a life goal. The world doesn't need more well-adjusted people. It needs more unapologetic weirdos solving problems in ways no one else would think of, okay? We need people that are fighting for that, doing those things. So you can follow me and find me on Instagram at breathe_easy_coaching or on TikTok at lifecoach_Jasmine J. And I would love to hear how you find ways to not be normal, how you find ways to break the status quo, okay? I would love to know the ways where you are breaking away from people trying to tell you that you should be something that you don't need to be. Like, don't do it. Stand up for yourself. Be great, all right? And I want to support these wins with you. Tag me with Weirdos Unite. And I would love to see and celebrate these wins with you. Okay? So remember, you're not crazy. You're just a little unwell. Now go and let your weirdo shine.
Remember, you don't need permission to be great. And this is your call to rise, to reclaim your power, and to step boldly into the life you were meant to live. I believe extraordinary potential lives in all of us. The dreams we've tucked away, the voice that was softened, and the fire that's been waiting to burn bright. This journey isn't about fitting into someone else's mold. It's about shattering expectations and embracing your truest, most unapologetic self. No more shrinking or waiting for permission. The world needs your brilliance, your resilience, and your unique light. It's time to stop asking, am I enough? And start declaring, I am more than enough. Your next chapter begins now. Let's write it with courage, audacity, and unshakable belief in who you are. The unstoppable person isn't born, they're awakened. And that person is you. Now go start your revolution. This world needs your unshaken light today.